Lesson 3, Sets and Odds. So when we're talking about sets, we're talking about groups of things. And what we talk about when we talk about the odds is we have the odds in favor and the odds against. And they differ from probabilities because a probability will tell you the total, whereas an odds will tell you how many ways something can happen and how many ways something can't happen. So we're going to start with a deck of cards because they are common and they're easy for us to do lots of different things. So in the last lesson I went over all the different suits and different ways we can group the cards. So I'm going to write that out again. So we have hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades, the numbers ace all the way through king. So whenever I say the number of hearts, for instance, the number of hearts we have, there would be 13. Just like the number of diamonds is 13, just like the number of spades is 13, just like the number of clubs is 13. Anytime we're talking about a suit, there's 13 of them. There are 52 cards in the deck. We call that the universal set. There's 52 in all of the options. We can also deal with number cards. So the number of number cards we have, there's 10 in each suit, so there would be 40. We also have face cards. So we would call that the number of F. So there's 12 of them, 3 in each suit. We could separate it based on red cards. So the number of red cards is 26. We could separate it based on black cards, which is 26. And some of these things will be in multiple options. We also have ways of saying not. So anytime you want to say it's not something, so say for instance you wanted to say not a heart, you would do this little symbol right here, which means prime. So the way that we can think about that is there's 52 cards in the deck, 13 of them are hearts. So if I subtract those two numbers, that means that 39 of them are not hearts. So anytime you see that little prime, it's how many ways it does not happen. And that's going to become very useful for us when we are doing odds. So, for the next example, you are holding all the hearts from a standard deck of cards. Determine the odds in favor of choosing a heart from that pile. And we want it to be a face. So let's think about this. We have 13 hearts in our hand. So that means there's 13 in total. Of those 13 hearts, there's going to be 3 of them face cards because there's a jack of hearts, a queen of hearts, and a club of hearts. So that would be these 3 cards right here. What that means then is the rest of the cards is how many ways it cannot happen. So we're going to say not the face cards. So if it's these 3 is the way it can happen, these rest of them are going to be the ways it doesn't. So there's 10 left. So this would be 10 ways it's not happening. So if we wanted to do the odds in favor of getting a heart that is a face card, we would say 3 to 10. This is how many ways you want it to happen. This is how many ways you don't want it to happen. Together, they need to make the total. If we wanted to do the odds against it being, oops, I missed an S, against it being a face card from the hearts, you would put the 3 in the back, and you would show how many ways it doesn't happen first versus how many ways it does happen. If we were doing a probability, remember that's different. The probability would use the total. So we would use 3 out of 13. And then you could divide those times by 100 to get 23%. So you can do odds and percentages similarly, but just keep in mind that odds need to make the total together. Example 2. Research shows that the probability of an expectant mother selected at random at having twins is 1 in 32. Determine the odds for and against having twins. So what this fraction means, this 1 over 32, is how many ways you have twins over the total. So what we need to find is how many ways we're not going to have twins. So to find that, we're going to take the total and subtract 1, because there's one way they do have twins. So that means there are 31 ways to not have twins, which is probably good. We'd have a lot of kids everywhere. Okay, the odds in favor would be 1 way of having twins to 32 ways of not having twins. The odds against would just be the opposite, 32 to 1.